The Tale of the Warlord's Daughter by Joseph Holloway. Once upon a barbaric land of blood and violence, a land ruled by no king or court, but a land of pure, unadulterated strength and power, survival and betrayal, lived a most intelligent warlord named Astrophus. Astrophus was indeed not the largest nor strongest, but in terms of intellect and tactical mind, Astrophus was unmatched. It was upon such a day of tactical thought and planning, whilst engaged in a bloody and brutal conflict with a rival tribe, that Astrophus' daughter, Brava, rode in upon her black steed without warning nor instruction. Brava plunged into the fray, cutting the heads off several men as she shouted out a furious battle scream. Her unbridled bloodlust and ferocity led to her father Astrophus' warriors winning the battle. Afterwards, however, Astrophus was furious. "Charging in without my orders, girl, could have cost us dearly. You will obey my orders or leave." Brava, however, merely laughed, and during the next few battles which followed, she continually disobeyed and undermined her father's command, killing all she pleased in the most grisly manners. It was not even just upon the field of battle that her fury was wrought. She picked fights with men sometimes twice her size in the tribe's village, and once went so far as to kill and behead a man for insulting her. Astrophus was livid at her response to it. "I simply hate all men," she said. Unable to tolerate his daughter's behaviour any longer, Astrophus confronted his daughter. "Daughter, you must leave our tribe and never return." Brava merely stood for a moment. Then she said loudly, pointing at a young man named Horo, to whom she had long despised, "You cannot, for this man Horo had his way with me, and I am with his child." Horo stood open-mouthed, eyes wide in horror at her accusation. Under the tribal custom, no woman may be cast out whilst with child. Astrophus raised an eyebrow and asked if this was true, to which Brava, of course, nodded, falsely touching her empty womb. Horo, however, was not so quiet. "Witch! I did no such thing to you!" Astrophus raised a hand curtly to silence him, and looked at his daughter straight in the eye. And he asked a second time, "Is this true?" To which Brava replied, "I may despise all men, father, but I would never lie to you." And with that, Astrophus sent Horo away in chains, screaming in protest. That night, Astrophus, after deep thought, knew that there was no loyalty left in Brava, who refused to recant a false witness she knew would condemn the man to death. With mind made up, the warlord recited, with the aid of the tribal wizards, the words of the old gods, and summoned the mythical creature Xelogrim. The ancient creature crawled forward, making a horrible scraping noise as it reared up upon its centipede-like legs, clicking its 3 fangs menacingly. "Creature," spoke Astrophus, "my daughter has bore false witness and condemned a man to die. She must be punished." The creature contorted its body into a sickening arch, leaning its horrible 3-fanged face to Astrophus, who held his ground, knowing that the creature only hungered for the flesh of the guilty. With a bug-like hiss, the creature vanished into the night. While Brava slept, the Xelogrim entered her tent, crawling along the ceiling to position itself directly over her. Suddenly, Brava opened her eyes to see the monster inches from her. Before she knew what happened, the Xelogrim sunk its 3 dripping fangs into her shoulder. The creature's venom was instantaneous, and in a second, Brava witnessed and felt every wrong she had ever done, every brutal kill, every monstrous behaviour, experiencing the pain, the anguish, and destruction of the life that she had brought to so many others. Though she gasped and gurgled and tried to scream for help, the Xelogrim's venom kept her paralysed as it coiled itself around Brava's body, wrapping her in its forelegs, and with its back legs started to drag her out of the tent. However, before it could journey out, Astrophus appeared, with an axe in hand. With a slash, the monstrous Xelogrim's head fell to the floor with a thud. "I said punish her, beast," said Astrophus. When Brava finally recovered from the venom a full week later, it was to a familiar feeling of being back in her bed with her father Astrophus watching over her. As Brava looked into her father's eyes, she burst into a flood of tears, crying into his arms. She begged his forgiveness for all the times she had disobeyed him and for her overly barbaric behaviour. Astrophus then gave a gesture for Horo to enter, looking very stern and stoic. Brava fell to her knees before him, holding up her sword. "For the wrong that I have done you, I deserve to be beheaded." "In another time, I would have," said Horo. But seeing her suffering from the effects of the Xelogrim venom for almost a full week of non-stop agony, was, he felt, enough of a punishment. Astrophus eventually allowed his daughter into battle once more, and not only followed every command, but fought more honourably and more respectfully, rising to be the most respected warrior in the tribe.